My name is Maria Celes Abragan, and I am an associate at Environmental Incentives. And I mainly support the Measuring Impact 2 project, or the MI2, which is funded by the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID. I grew up in the Philippines, born and raised, and the Philippines is highly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. It's an island country in Southeast Asia in the Pacific region, and it's also along the typhoon belt, meaning that the country gets a lot of typhoons. I think on average 20 typhoons every year, and that's a lot of typhoons. And recently, the typhoons have been very extreme, both in magnitude and frequency, and that took the lives of thousands of people and also destroyed livelihoods in residential areas in many parts of the country. When was the time when climate change became local or real to me? It was really when I was in middle school, when I was living in my hometown in Davao City. And Davao City is a coastal city in the southern part of the Philippines. And as far as I remember growing up, we didn't really experience typhoons or extreme rainfall in Davao City because we were away from the typhoon belt, and we were also surrounded by mountain ranges. So it was really shocking when one day there was heavy rainfall, and that caused extreme flooding in different areas in the city. And one neighborhood was impacted the most. A couple of people died, houses were destroyed, and livelihoods were destroyed. And back then, I was part of the student council in the school, and I remember organizing an emergency relief program in the school where I collected donations, clothing, cash, food, household supplies, water, so that we could donate that to the victims of the flooding. And together with other students, we went to the area, to the neighborhood where the people were impacted the most, and we distributed those donations. And I remember going there, and the water was still high, I think above my knee, and that the situation looked really bad. And seeing that for the first time made climate change really real to me. You know, I knew climate change is happening, but it didn't occur to me that my local community and the people around me would be impacted by it. So climate imperative for me means that we have to change our ways. We need to put climate change in front and center of our priorities. Unfortunately, climate change is not just a global environmental issue, but it is also an equity and injustice issue. Although climate change affects all of us, its impact on everyone is not the same. There are communities and countries that are more vulnerable to the impacts of climate change than others, and that's just a fact. We need to do more integrated work between climate change, adaptations and mitigations, biodiversity, food security, and other development sectors, and really see the synergies of these. I can see EI working with government agencies, NGOs, and especially the private sector to provide tools and resources that can help assess risk to climate change and also measure progress towards climate change goals and priorities. And I can see EI contributing to data, research, and knowledge management to inform government agencies, NGOs, and these private sectors so they can achieve their climate change goals in the next coming years and the next coming decades.